And today I'm going to be talking to you about how to practice this year's Mallet Etude. One thing that I would like to talk about is the double stops and how to approach them. Whenever I see double stops, unless it's like really impossible and it doesn't sound good, I like to literally double stop them. For this slow etude especially though, I would really try to go into the roll as soon as you can. So that's another one. You know, you don't want any space in between the double stop and the actual roll. It just kind of makes it sound more even as opposed to or. It draws your ear to the other one, but this is kind of, it's just a straight up chord, you know? Another thing is I love the decrescendos and how they decrescendo to piano. I think that can be super dramatic, so really, really play as soft as you can. Because the marimba, it can get super soft. So for example, the first one's in measure 4. So yeah. I'll do that again. And then you have one in measure 6. And then another one in measure 10. That's one opportunity for you to be super dramatic and super musical with that. Another thing, I think it's super easy to rush these rests, especially at such a slow tempo, you know. Really feel that, really subdivide that. So in measure 8, 1, 2. Measure 10. So you have da. Da. Another thing along the line with the rolls and the rests, you have the quarter note roll and then the 8th note rest. I would make that super obvious. I wouldn't carry that roll into either the next roll or the next beat or next measure normally. I wouldn't do that. I would play it how it's marked. And then another thing I just remembered when I played it is the grace notes, right? Whenever you've seen grace notes so far, they're supposed to be really tight, right? Like in your rudiment sheet. That's not the case for mallet instruments for the most part. There's some instances, but for the most part, and for here, I would say don't play them tight. because this is kind of emulating what a woodwind or a brass player would do. So to emulate that, I would open it up. And since you have space, I would open it up a lot, you know, like for musicality type. It gives it a little cutesy musical thing too, I think. Another thing I would like to talk to you about is making sure that your rolls are even. It makes it sound really dirty, even if you're not really, you know, playing bad, if your hands aren't even. So like if one hand's coming out more than the other, it's kind of distracting. So really make sure that you're rolling, and try to roll low to the keyboard. Less room for error, less room for height variations, and it also keeps you from less likely to miss notes. If you're not looking, or you're just not being that careful, it's super easy to miss if you're playing higher, as opposed to that's just more control, more targeted. So I would keep those rolls at a low height. The biggest thing with this etude, though, as I mentioned, is the dynamics. Dynamics. We can just take full advantage of this huge range of dynamics, especially in the. I'll start at measure 24, right? It's the very end. Start like, mezzo forte and just as soft as you can go, and loud, I think that would be very impressive, and I think that would set you apart from the other auditionees. So that's all I have for this etude. So I would like to wish you luck on this year's region audition.